Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is the forecast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers to get insights that help to elevate us as we move through a celestial event. And in this case, it is the powerful total solar eclipse in Aries. A solar eclipse is a new moon eclipse, and this really is an incredible moment because we already had an Aries New Moon on March 21st at 0 degrees Aries, right at the beginning. And now we have a second Aries New Moon, a total solar eclipse, at the very last moment of Aries, 29 degrees and 50 minutes. So literally almost the sun in Taurus. And this is really enhancing the Aries and Mars energy. Mars rules Aries. So Aries is the first sign. Aries is about passion and forward momentum and new beginnings. Aries begins spring in the northern hemisphere and fall in the southern hemisphere. And it begins the zodiacal year. The zodiac begins with the sign. So when we had that incredible new moon following the equinox, which was on March 20th, and hours later, the new moon, also at 0 degrees Aries, that was a very special time. And now we've come to 4 weeks, about 28 days later, and it is the 19th and 20th of April, depending on where you live. And here we have the second Aries new moon. So it's an eclipse, it's powerful. There's a stellium too, which means there are 3 planets that are together. In this case, it's Jupiter, Moon, and Sun. And you could even count Chiron in this stellium as well. So 4 planets, all in Aries, which makes it even more powerful. So let's look at, first of all, the moment that it happens, which is on the 20th of April, Universal Time at 5:12 a.m., which is 12:12 a.m. New York Eastern, and on April 19th at 9:12 p.m. Pacific. And you don't need to be in Aries to benefit from this forecast because you have Aries somewhere in your birth chart. So this solar eclipse is actually happening somewhere in one of your houses and possibly conjunct one of your planets or making contact in some way, somehow in your chart. Now, it's at 29 degrees. Like I said, 29 reduces to 11. 2 plus 9 equals 11. 11 is double new beginnings. Aries is the first sign. This is a new moon eclipse, new beginnings. So what's going on? Whatever you started in between March 20th and now, whatever has happened to you, some kind of experience or a project was started or you've made a decision, that is now culminating this week. There's something that will break open or create a breakthrough or allow you to really walk through that 11 gateway, the doorway into new beginnings. And it's been building up this whole time. So by the time the second Aries new moon comes around, this is really a big deal, especially because it's a total solar eclipse. Mars is the ruler of Aries and this total solar eclipse. And Mars is in Cancer, which is the sign the moon rules. So we have this clashing energy where Mars, a fire sign, is in a water sign. Mars is a go-getter, has initiative, and is assertive, wants to start things. And Cancer is all about wanting to be nurtured and feeling comfortable, cared for, warm and fuzzy, at home, preferably cooking a wonderful meal, just being very compassionate, a deeply feeling sign. So we have these two energies coming together, and it's very interesting because it really is the beginning of a cycle that we're in this year where the eclipses are epitomizing the receptivity and assertiveness, where the first 2 eclipses now, the one in Aries and the Scorpio eclipse coming up on May 5th, are ruled by Mars, and Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. So that's very forward momentum, fiery energy. And then the 2 eclipses that are coming up in the autumn are both ruled by Venus. And then in the middle, we have a Venus retrograde starting in July. So there's this really big dynamic between Venus and Mars that is starting now. So Mars being currently in another feminine sign, Cancer, ruled by the moon, the feminine planet, is really powerful. And then we also have Jupiter conjunct the sun and moon. And Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, another fire sign. Jupiter brings a lot of expansion and joy and a sense of justice as well. Jupiter rules the legal system, but it also rules wisdom and higher education and learning and beliefs and just a sense of expansion and vision that reaches beyond the horizon. So Jupiter encompasses the world. It is multicultural. It is long distance travel. So there is this big energy that's being born in this total solar eclipse. And it's going to carry us through for the next 6 months because that's the impact that these eclipses have on us until the next eclipse cycle with Venus. So we are actually being asked to act at this time. And it's fascinating to me that Mars is creating a sextile to Mercury. And the reason I say that is Mercury goes retrograde a day after this eclipse. So on April 21st, Mercury stations retrograde in Taurus. And Mars is creating this gorgeous sextile to Mercury and Uranus they're together in Taurus. And remember, Taurus is associated with Venus. Venus rules Taurus. So there is this wonderful awakening of the divine feminine and sacred masculine that is going on in all these events that are being birthed at this time, really speaking to balance. So where we don't just take one energy and, only do forward momentum and assertiveness and my way or the highway independence, but we also have interdependence and we have caring and compassion, receptivity going on at the same time. So the other thing I want to mention is the date for the universal time, 4/20/2023, adds up to 13. And 13 is the number of the divine feminine. So we have this beautiful expression during this very assertive Aries total solar eclipse of the divine feminine in the numerology code being activated. Why is 13 associated with the divine feminine? Because we have 13 lunar cycles a year. Venus has 13 Venus cycles, and 13 is the number of weeks we have in a season, and the seasons are connected again to the divine feminine. So this is really wonderful how, of course, the cosmic code brings balance in the midst of tremendous shifts. So let's look a little bit more closely at the transits. Moon and Sun conjunct Jupiter is all about joy, kindness, gratitude, appreciating the bounty that life has to offer, appreciating opportunities for growth and going after opportunities. Remember, this is an Aries total new moon eclipse, so you are initiating, right? So there's a real sense of gratitude for your well-being and gratitude for how fortunate you are to have what you have and to count your blessings in so many ways. The eclipse is also forming a square to Pluto, and it's actually very tight. That means that it's within a degree. It's actually within a half degree. However, it is out of sign, which means Pluto is not in Capricorn, 29 degrees Capricorn. Pluto recently moved to 0 degrees Aquarius. So even though it's out of sign, it's still a very tight square. And boy, Pluto squaring the sign that Mars rules is powerful because those are the two very passionate planets. And this means that you will be driven to empower yourself or to get in control in some way or to really move out of a situation where you are feeling like you're being controlled, wanting to purge everything that is keeping you from stepping into your power. A square is all about action. It's a tense aspect. And since Pluto's at 0 degrees Aquarius, the sign of freedom, you are seeking to set yourself free from anything that is impeding you from feeling like you can make your own choices and you don't want anybody to dampen your energy. So it's really about stepping into your power in a big way. So, we have some wonderful energy here with that square. And by wonderful, I mean the growth opportunities are pretty astounding because your inner power is being activated, it's being invigorated, and your drive to actually do something and succeed, to really see yourself in a new way. Pluto does transform. It's about life, death, rebirth. And Pluto is the ruler of the next eclipse. Pluto and Mars rule Scorpio. So Mars, the ruler of this eclipse, was the original ruler of Scorpio. And that Scorpio eclipse on May 5th has the modern ruler is Pluto. So this square is showing you, okay, well, between now and May 5th, when we have the full moon eclipse in Scorpio, there is something for you to really attend to and purge and release and let go of. So be sure to do a lot of deep breathing and let go of bygones. That's a big theme. And meditate and ask your guides, ask divine source to support you. Ask for awareness and ask for goodness to prevail, because goodness does always prevail. So you can have your own prayers and take them with you through the day as the energy really intensifies. And know that also we have a beautiful sextile from the moon and sun to Saturn. And the reason it's beautiful is that you're taking your feelings seriously now. And Saturn recently moved into Pisces. And that really was a major shift for Saturn. Saturn is bringing to the surface the things that we weren't able to see. So Pisces can veil things. It's mysterious, it's spiritual, and it's not that realistic in a sense. It's more ideal. So it's about compassion, unconditional love, and those unseen energies. Saturn's known as the taskmaster, but it's more like the teacher. And so there's this sense of, when the moon and sun sextile Saturn, of you have this practical encouragement and you can be more patient and you allow time to heal. So there's all that is important. Saturn is Chronos, the ruler of time. So there's a sense of allowing timelessness, which is Pisces, to merge with timing. So it's a little bit of a paradox. Timelessness doesn't really have timing. But when Saturn is in Pisces, we've got a lot of paradoxes, because this is about reality versus everything that is surreal. And so Saturn is bringing to the surface those things that are actually not real, that were taken to be real. So again, there may be things that happen in your life or that you discover were not actually the truth, were not actually the case. And allow those things to come up. This is a beautiful sextile, so you're able to see it and not feel guilty or in some way judge yourself for not being able to see clearly. This is just a way to allow yourself to be aware without judgment. So we have a lot going on, and I want to end now with a couple of Mars contexts that are made. So Mars is an aspect to Uranus and Chiron, and Mars rules this total solar eclipse, so it's an important planet to look at. Mars sextile Uranus really intensifies your intuition and creativity and your yearning for independence. And these two planets are about fast action and using your instinct and inspiration together. So there will be surprising developments. You're embracing the unusual, the sort of unexpected, the new, the inner genius, inventions. So it's a great time to manifest change in your life and do it rapidly. And then Mars square Chiron. Chiron is in Mars's sign. It's been there for a while in Aries. So there's this real sense of learning how to express your frustration in healthier ways. Mars can sometimes get impatient and angry and aggressive. And so the square with Chiron is you're recognizing that you may be attracting people into your life that reflect some of your unexpressed emotions. And so you want to learn to assert yourself, but in a way that is also born of love, not born of a really negative energy. So it's really about knowing the right amount of force in any situation. So you are consciously and consistently taking practical action that makes a deep healing imprint. So this is actually a very powerful aspect that Mars is forming during Mars's total solar eclipse in Aries. So really, there's so much here. I know I've gone on and on, but it's just a very, very big moment in the year. And of course, it's the beginning of eclipse season. So for more on Mars and Venus, I do have a free masterclass at venusmarscode.com, and it really talks about the Great Awakening of the Divine Feminine and the Sacred Masculine, and how we really are learning to merge that Venus-Mars energy. So we talk about the 5-pointed star of Venus, the secret meaning of letters V and M for Venus and Mars, the 13 phases of Venus, the difference between aggressiveness and assertiveness and why that shift is happening now. And also we talk about the origins of the Mayan calendar, because it has to do with Venus and Mars as well. And you'll learn a lot about the cosmic changes that are unfolding for humanity right now. So enjoy that free masterclass at venusmarscode.com. And I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Enjoy the total solar eclipse in Aries. Lots of love.